Hello all, myself Sudha Rani, working as Assistant Professor in Mlritm, Hyderabad. Today my session will be on topic called natural resources. So what are natural resources and how they are useful to us? So this will be my topic today. So I'll be dealing with the one natural resource of water resource today in my topic. So before we go on to the topic of natural resources, let us know what is a resource actually. So why it is important to us. Okay. So what is a resource? Resource is something, a component which is available in the atmosphere or in the environment and which is useful to us. That is what we call it as a resource, which is useful to us in our day-to-day life. We call it as a resource, a source of supply, and which is available in the environment. So we call it as a resource. You can find here. So it is used to satisfy our needs, provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable. Then we call it as an resource. So which is a component in the atmosphere and which is useful to us in our day-to-day life. Okay. Next. So what are these natural resources? When these resources are available naturally, we call them natural resources. In the Earth's atmosphere, we call them natural resources. So this slide is on their classification. So what are natural resources and how they are classified? So you can see natural resources are of two types, exhaustible and inexhaustible. So when we are talking about inexhaustible resources, we have solar energy, wind energy, hydropower, tidal power and all comes under inexhaustible resources. As the name implies, they are not exhausted even after our use for a longer time. Next is the exhaustible resources. So exhaustible resources, as the name is implying, that they get exhausted after using them for a certain period of time. So exhaustible resources are of two types, renewable and non-renewable. So you can see here renewable resources and non-renewable resources. In renewable, we have water, soil, natural vegetation and the wildlife. So renewable means they are the resources which can be replenished or recycled or replaced. So we call them renewable. Okay, after some time they are again back to the atmosphere. Non-renewable resources are such resources which once we use them, they are exhausted completely. They are not replaceable, they cannot be regenerated, they cannot be recycled. So such resources we call them as non-renewable resources. So in non-renewable resources, you can see the minerals, the fossil fuels, and of course some biological species. Some species which we lost them, you can find out here. We lost them, suppose we are talking about dinosaur or we are talking about dodo bird, we lost them permanently. So we lost it, so they are under the category of non-renewable resources. Once they are lost forever. So this is the classification of natural resources. Next. Then what is a natural resource? As I have told you before, it is something which is available in the nature naturally, and they are used to promote the mankind. They are useful to us in our daily, everyday life basis. So like every man-made item consists of a natural resource. So here the resources that are derived from the environment are called as natural resources. Some of them are most essential to us. You can see here some of them are most essential to us, while most of them are used to satisfy our needs. Okay, so such resources we call them, and they are naturally available, hence called natural resources. So sun is the major natural resource which never ends. So that is all about natural resources. Next. Types of natural resources. So these are the examples of natural resources. There are forest resources, water resources, mineral, food resources, land and energy resources. These are the 6 main classifications of natural resources. Forest, water, mineral, food, land, energy resources are said to be the types of natural resources. So in all these types, today my session, I am going to concentrate on the water resource. Water as the biggest resource on environment. So before I start my session on water resource, we all know about water cycle which is going on in the atmosphere. Now you can see the processes of, the different stages of water cycle: evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation. Of course, transpiration is not a stage in the water cycle. The evaporation from plants, we call it transpiration. They also contribute a lot. Plants also contribute a lot towards water vapor. So evaporation, condensation, precipitation. So these are the three main processes which are included in water cycle. So that is why, the cycle is going on. That is why water is renewable source. Okay, next. When we are going to the next slide, then yes, Earth is said to be a blue planet where 97.5, 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. In that, 97.5% is all occupied by the oceans and seas. Majority of the water which is present on Earth is all about oceans, is all about seas. So that is about 97%. So it is all salty water, the saline waters, and they contain an average of 35 grams of salt per liter. So this is one analysis. Next. Then some of the water is stored in the form of ice and snow. We also call it as permafrost, which is frozen. This is fresh water only, but almost 2%. Okay, it is stored in the form of ice and snow. This is of fresh waters. Okay, so now we know about the Antarctic regions or the Greenland, where we find completely covered with snow. This snow is all about fresh waters. Next, then the remaining 0.5% whatever is left, that is the water which is available for us for drinking. It is again in two forms: surface water, that is in the form of rivers, or we are talking about streams, springs, and all these comes under the fresh waters. They are available in the form of lakes and marshy swamps and all. All this also the water is available, but our drinking water needs are satisfied by the flowing waters. We call them lotic waters, where the water is flowing. So that is all surface waters. Now when we talk about ground waters, in the ground also there is water present. So how water is present in the ground? Because of the rainfall, when the water gets seeped or it gets allowed by the soil, through the soil, it enters into the ground. So groundwater is also the water is available for us for drinking. Now, yes, the surface waters, as I was telling you, the lakes are there, or we are talking about the ponds where the water is stagnant. So this stagnant water we cannot use for our drinking purposes, because more stagnation of water, yes, more pollution in the waters. We are dependent on the rivers, streams, or springs, or creeks, or on the underground water for our drinking water purpose. Okay. Next one, in the atmosphere also there is some water content present. That is 0.001% of the atmosphere is consisting of some water. In the atmosphere also, we have about a very, very minute percentage of water present in the atmosphere. Next part, so in the ground, I told you that in the ground also water is present. Now how the water is entering the soil, how it is seeping through the soil surfaces. So in the soil, we have a layer called as aquifer. Okay, aquifer is any underground layer of rock or sediment that holds water. So any layer which is present inside, you can see here aquifers, the layer of rock or sediment, okay, or sediment or silt, which contains water. That layer we call it as an aquifer. Sometimes the aquifer are very close to the surface of the earth, sometimes they are very much interior to the surface of the earth. So it is a layer in which the water is present, and we draw water from these layers. Okay. Next one, aquifers are of two types. Okay, here you can see unconfined aquifer and confined aquifers. Two aquifers are there. So there's the layer of water, we call it as an aquifer, which is present inside the earth's surface. Now you can see in the unconfined aquifer, okay, directly the water is seeping. It's going down whenever there is rainfall through the soil. It is going down to one layer. We call it unconfined aquifer. Okay, there is one more layer called confined aquifer. This confined aquifer is in between two impermeable layers of rock. So you can see here confined aquifer, and this is one impermeable layer and this is one impermeable layer. Where there is no seepage, the seepage is very, very less. That is why you can see in confined aquifer, the water content is less when compared to unconfined aquifers. So unconfined aquifers, which are very near to the earth's surface, and the water present in unconfined aquifer is more when compared to confined aquifer, because in confined aquifer, it is a layer of water in between two impermeable layers. Okay, so this is types of aquifers. Next, yes, this slide gives you a better idea. Unconfined aquifer, confined aquifer. Okay, unconfined aquifer where the seepage is faster and the water content here is more, because there is no impermeable layer above it. So water directly, it is from the lake or it's from the river or it is from the rainfall, it is going through the soil layers and entering into this layer. So we call it as unconfined aquifer. Then when we are talking about confined aquifer, as I told you before, it is between two layers, two impermeable layers. So you can see the water content in this confined aquifer is very, very less. So that is the major difference of an confined aquifer and unconfined aquifer. Okay. Now, then water is very important for our everyday usage. So we have seen the percentages. Only 0.5% of water available on the earth's crust is available for drinking. So it may be underground water, it may be surface water, but most of this water is being polluted. Now, what is the next solution to this? We have to go for conservation of water resources. So conservation of water is the major, what you call an alternative to the natural resources of water. So many times people ask me, then why there is, when the water cycle is going on so perfectly in the atmosphere, why there is scarcity of water? Why there must be any scarcity of water? Because the cycle is going on, water is getting evaporated, water is getting condensed, water is getting precipitated, then the cycles are going on and most of the earth's surface is of water content only. Then why there should be a problem with water? So the main answer for this is because water is used indiscriminately. Okay, continuous usage of water, indiscriminate usage of water leads to this problem in the problem with the water resource. So here, for a solution for this, we have started construction of dams. So dams are massive barriers built across any rivers or the streams to confine and utilize the flow of water for human purposes. So to use them, so we are confining and we are storing water. So these are, you can see, massive barriers which are built across the rivers or the streams. And we know the many purposes or the advantages of water. Even from long, long back, our civilizations are very near to the waters. Then when people understood the importance of water, they started conservation of waters. So one major issue with the conservation of water is the construction of dams. So they have started construction of dams, and it is for collecting, storing, saving, managing, that is essential for sustenance of human civilization. So what civilization started very near to the water sources only. Okay. So when we come to the benefits of dams, what are these benefits? Why we have to go for construction of a dam? Of course, the storage of water and recreation. You can see here recreation 35%, irrigation we are giving 11%, public water supply is all 12%, flood control 15%, hydroelectricity 2%. And any other uses we are going for 7%. Stock or farm pond we are saying it as 18%. So these are the different benefits of dams. So our irrigation, or we are talking about recreation, or we are talking about storage, or we are controlling floods. All these are the benefits of dams. Okay, so when there are some merits, there should be some demerits also. So what are the disadvantages? When it is useful in so many aspects, what are the disadvantages of dams? Disadvantages of dams, first one, the change of ecosystem. So you're constructing something, you're disturbing the ecosystem. Then there is soil erosion, spread of diseases, especially the water which is stored for, you can see here, stored for most part of the year, continuously storage of water. Definitely we have vector-borne diseases. So vector-borne diseases are causing, continuous, there is a problem in the nearby villages and all. That is one issue. Then, and poor design of the dam, it can lead to failure and mass flooding. That is an issue. Silting of lake, yes, of course. And large production of methane gas from the flooded forest areas. This is one disadvantage. Soil erosion, change in ecosystem. And most importantly, displacement of people. People are asked to move away from that particular areas. Okay, that is the main problem concerned with the dam. So always the people are not happy to move from their places which they have been living from their ancestors. So they don't want to vacate their homes. So that issue comes as the biggest problem in construction of dams. So yes, there is a saying, construct a dam and invite an earthquake. So the soil also should be able to hold the weight of the water as well as the construction of a dam. If the soil is incapable of holding the weight of the water, definitely there will be tremors here and there in that part surrounding places of the dam construction. So that is one. So in the merits, we can say our late Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru always he quoted that dams are considered to be temples of modern India. So they are temples when we are talking about the merits. And here, when it is poorly designed, of course, now we have all the technology to test the soil, capacity to hold the water as well as the construction of the dam. So now there is it's not a big problem, but long before there was a problem with this. There were some tremors here and there around the dam because of the construction weight. So this is one where we are studying about the disadvantages of dams especially. Okay. Next, there are 5 most important dams in the country which helped in the social and economic progress of the country. Okay, I can talk about Tehri Dam, which is in Uttaranchal. Next, Bakra Nangal Dam, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh. Sardar Sarovar Dam, Gujarat. And Hirakud Dam, Orissa. Nagarjuna Dam, yes, it is in Telangana. So these are the 5 major dams in the country which changed the face of agriculture in the country. Most importantly, social and economic aspects of the people have improved or progressed on a large scale because of these 5 important, largest, longest, okay, all these dams are responsible for that progress of the country. Okay. Now I'll discuss 2 case studies about the conflicts of the project, especially the conflict on Narmada, okay, the river, where it is with the Sardar Sarovar project. Okay, it's a long conflict. It's like decades together it has taken, where people were unwilling to move. Okay, and later on with the interference of Supreme Court only, because lots of people have to be displaced. They have to be moved from those areas. So according to the reports, it is they have given only 6,147 families have to be displaced, okay, from those areas, which caused a huge concern among the people, where they have to move, where they have to start their life again. So that is the major biggest controversy in the whole, one of the major biggest controversy you can say in the construction of the dam globally. Okay, where people were not willing. There are many issues, many protests which went on. It took some decades for the construction. But after the construction, all these demerits outweigh the merits actually. So this is one case study related to Sardar Sarovar project built on Narmada River. So you must have heard about Narmada Bachao Andolan. It's all related to these issues. Next, there is one more issue, Krishnarajasagar Dam, which is in Karnataka, Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu. 2 dams where Krishnarajasagar Dam is in Karnataka, Mettur Dam is in Tamil Nadu. In the Krishnarajasagar Dam, the water is used to irrigate the districts of Karnataka and also to solve their drinking water issues. So the water is being used. Mettur Dam also, here you can see Mettur Dam also, it is used to irrigate the crops in Tamil Nadu. So the major conflict is the downstream Mettur Dam can only be filled if water is released from the upstream Krishnarajasagar Dam. So because Mettur Dam is in the downstream and upstream we have the Krishnarajasagar Dam, Krishnarajasagar Dam, where Mettur Dam, because it is in the downstream, the water has to be released from the Krishnarajasagar Dam from the upstream. Because it is not happening according to the whatever they have solved, not happening according to the rules or the laws laid by them. So there is a dispute. 100 years old dam, 100 years old problem. Till today also there is an issue which is going on, because the dam, the Mettur Dam will be filled only by the water which is released from the Krishnarajasagar Dam in Karnataka. So many a times in Karnataka, the government says that if there are no rains there, so their dam is not filled, so they are not allowing the water into Tamil Nadu. So these issues went on very recently also. You can see in September 2023, the Supreme Court again ordered, they have given some solutions for this. So it is going on from ages together. See, these are some controversies or issues related to dams. Okay, so this is the conclusion of a dam, why it is important. As I told you, temples of modern India, the merits of dams and the demerits of dams. That is what we have discussed already. Next, then when we are storing water, when we said water is the major important resource on the earth's surface, then we have other technologies. One is we have constructed the dam and we started storing water in the dam and used for different purposes. The other one is drip irrigation concept. So this is the concept which I am going to deal now. Drip irrigation means, what is it exactly? You can see in the pictures some pipelines attached. Okay, water is going drop by drop. Here also you can see drop by drop water is given to the plant. Yes, you can see some nozzles here. Okay, what exactly is drip irrigation? Which country has brought this for the first time into the world? That we are going to see in this particular session. Okay, then what is drip irrigation? It is also known as trickle or micro or localized irrigation. Okay, trickle or micro or localized irrigation. So drip irrigation is a method which saves water and fertilizer. Both water and the fertilizer is saved by allowing water to drip very slowly to the plant roots, either to the soil surface or directly to the plant zone. So drop by drop the water is supplied to the plant roots directly or to the surface of the plant. So if you are sending it to the root zone, there has to be some network of valves and pipes. So some valves are used, pipes are used, the tubing is being done and the emitters are being used. So that is how drip irrigation goes on. So drop by drop we supply water to the plant and either directly to the surface of the, either to the plant directly on the surface, plant's surface, or we supply to the plant root through the tube systems. So that is what we call by drip irrigation. So by this we are saving not only water, we are also saving the fertilizers. Okay, we are not using them abundantly here. Now, first introduced by a person in 1964 by Simcha Blas. He is an Israeli engineer, developed the first patented drip irrigation system. So he is the first person to develop a drip irrigation system. And now at present, USA is the country first, you can say in USA, large areas are under drip irrigation. So we have also imbibed this technology. In India now we are using in different states of Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, or we are calling it as Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. All these areas we are using drip irrigation. So first designed by Simcha Blas, an Israeli engineer. Okay, so this is all about drip irrigation. Now you can see some pictures, they are sprinkling, drips is going on. Yes, as I told you, either to the surface very near to the plant, or we give it directly to the root through a system, through a mechanized system. That is what I mean by drip irrigation. So these are the different aspects. Now the technology is available where the water usage becomes very minimum, and according to the scientists, 70% of the water is being saved through this particular kind of technology. Okay, next. So Israeli drip irrigation system. Israel, as I told you, the person who got first introduced the concept of drip irrigation is from Israel, and the land where there is huge, you call drought-like conditions. So this compelled him to develop, a drip irrigation system. So it came from them only. It is by the Israelis only. So they have started, and maybe you must have understood about this kibbutz system. They have started in Israel only. So first they have started with drip irrigation system where the water source is very, very less in Israel. Okay, as it also mentioned about Simcha Blas, he is the person behind this drip irrigation concept. Okay, so modern drip irrigation was invented in 1960s, and where he says almost in Israel 70% of the water is being saved only because of this particular concept, and it is being taken into different parts of the world, and majority of the countries and places, yes, they are using, because water is the major resource available on this earth, and it's our everybody's responsibility to use it amicably, to you conserve it and use it properly. Okay, so that is all about drip irrigation. Now another concept is rainwater harvesting. So yes, this is also storing water. So how exactly we store it? Okay, so here let me tell you what is rainwater harvesting. So it is usually the immediate collection of rainwater running off the surfaces, or upon which it has fallen directly. So you can say it is collection of rainwater running off the surfaces. That is one aspect, and catching the rainwater when it falls. Whenever it is falling or wherever it is falling, you are catching it and you are storing it to use during the non-rainy season. So this concept is you are catching it along with the surface runoff. That is one way. Another way, when the rain is falling on the rooftops, whenever it is falling or wherever it is falling, you're collecting and you're storing it for the non-rainy season. So let us see what are the different aspects of this rainwater harvesting system. Okay, the technology of rainwater harvesting, it is of two types: roof top harvesting and runoff harvesting. Two types are there. As I was telling you, rooftop harvesting on the roofs, on the terraces, when the rain is falling down, so it is connected to the pipelines, and you can see we have it is being directed to one particular tank where you can store the water. The another one is runoff harvesting. So yes, I'll just show you what is runoff harvesting. Is on the surface when there is lots of rainwater accumulated. Yes, we are we are directing it to one particular area and we are storing it. So you can see roof top harvesting. You can see in the diagram also, from the rooftops, they are directly connected to one particular tanks, one particular areas where they are stored properly, and then they are used for the purposes later. Here also you can see in the diagram, yes, different rooftops of factories, or we are calling about colleges, offices, complexes, domestic houses, all this wherever nowadays, yes, it is made mandatory in most of the cities where rainwater harvesting is must in every complex, either it is commercial or it is residential or it is industrial. So anywhere you go, this is made a mandatory update or mandate, you can say, where they have to go for rainwater harvesting. Just we are collecting the water and we are storing it in the form of tanks and all. And then runoff waters from the gardens, from the parks, or landscapes, or open fields, the water which has been it has been flowing, that water is being collected and it is used in harvesting. So using this method, it is possible to collect water from larger areas. So larger areas runoff, we can collect the water and we can direct the water in one particular areas where we can store it for later use. So this is advantages especially for the areas where there is low rainfall. So you can see here, this is runoff harvesting, two types. One is rooftop harvesting, the other one is runoff harvesting. Okay, next. Then harvesting means we are storing. So for that we require some pipes, okay, some gutters and pipes. So in rooftop, gutters and pipes are used to collect and transport the water to the storage tanks. There are some pipes, there are some gutters used, and they are used to collect the water and storing in that particular areas. So these pipes and gutters can be made up of PVC metal. Okay, instead of the PVC or any other metal, we can make them, but PVC is most widely used nowadays. Okay, all these pipes, exactly from where we are directing the water, where it has to go, all these are through the pipelines. Next, there are filters. This is one which is used in the rainwater harvesting concept. They are used to filter out the debris that comes with the rooftop water and prevent them from being added to the storage tank. So we are using some filters because on the terrace there is lots of dust, there is lots of debris. So in order to filter them, so you can see in this particular diagram, there are filters attached for the movement of water. So it is being properly filtered and then it enters into the the storage tank. So filters are being used, mesh filters, first flushing devices and sediment discharge taps. So these are different apparatus, you can see differently used here. Everywhere the mesh is being, the filters are being, they are being used so that the debris stays out. So we are collecting only the pure water and then we are storing it in the storage devices. Okay, now you can see the storage tanks in different shapes and positions placed at different places. Storage tanks, yes, these are the places. So we are storing them properly at different areas, and of course they are in different shapes. You can see in this picture also we are storing them. It doesn't require a big modifications and all. Any tank, any PVC oriented tank, you can fit it properly and store the water in the store rainwater into that. Okay, so this is the shapes as you're watching. And next, so what are the devices which are used to draw the water out? Now the pipes are there, the filters are there, now the tanks are ready. Then how to draw them outside? Now we are using hand pumps and the motorized pumps or taps depending upon your tank, like depending upon your usage of water, the position of the tank. We are using this hand pumps, motorized pumps. You can see here pumps here, motorized pumps and all we are using to pull out the water from the storage devices. So we call it, these are the devices which are used to draw water from the storage tanks. Next, what are the advantages of rainwater harvesting? Why we have to go for it? So the first one, yes, you can use any cheap materials of construction. One tank is required and the pipes are required. You are directing the rainwater into the tank for storage. Now, construction methods are relatively straightforward. Low maintenance costs and requirements. They are environmental friendly. You are increasing the water in the water table. And as I told you in the same session, we have learned about aquifers. In the aquifers, the water is being increased because of rainwater harvesting. So this is one, increase the ground level and quality of the water definitely. It mitigates the effects of drought. So drought-like conditions you cannot find in a place where everybody is going for rainwater harvesting systems. Then it reduces the runoff. You don't see water everywhere whenever it is raining, and it reduces soil erosion, and especially it reduces our electricity bills. So the aquifers will be filled with water. It is easy to draw water from these aquifers and very environmental friendly. Those areas will be completely filled with underground water which are safe to utilize. So more than when I said about surface waters and underground waters which are used for drinking water purposes, So surface waters can be polluted, they can be contaminated, of course with underground water only, but to lesser extent. So this is advantages of rainwater harvesting. Now what is the conclusion? Okay, it is usually taken to mean immediate collection of rainwater running off the surfaces upon which it is falling directly. So the water which we are getting through the rain from the water cycle, we are collecting them and storing them in different devices. So collecting rainwater is cost effective and best alternate to the scarcity for water worldwide. It is considered to be the best alternative. So it is cost effective. As I told you, it doesn't require specified mechanism and all. Only the pipes. Just see that the water is gathering into the the storage tanks wherever you have wherever you're directing the water. Therefore, rainwater harvesting should be improved to gain sustainability in various aspects in rural as well as urban areas. Definitely in rural areas and urban areas also. So it should be improved so that sustainability in various aspects you can find by rainwater harvesting. Okay, that's all for today. Let us meet for the next session. Thank you.